Happy Flosstube. This is Lisa coming to you from the sunny Pacific Northwest, but not too warm. It is Saturday, May 21st, 2022, and I am a historian by training. I am a public historian also by training, and I did so many oral histories, and you just always date everything. It's a thing you just do so that people know someday in the future, if anybody is watching this, they'll know when and where I filmed it, and that provides valuable context. Not so sure it's that big of a deal for Flosstube. But anyway, it's me, it's a habit, it's the thing. Thank you for coming, thank you for being here. This is Creaky Geekery, where I geek out about whatever crafts I'm working on. Last couple of years, it's been almost all cross stitch all the time. And that's pretty much what it's going to be this week. I've got finish, some progress on my WIPS, and some haul, because that is a thing I do, and stress-related retail events happen. Yes, they do. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, subscribing, all of that stuff. Okay, let's go to the cross stitch. I've already filmed this twice. Well, not twice. I filmed it once, and then didn't realize I'd only hit picture and not video. And so I went, oh, and then I started it again, and I did the same thing. So, third time's the charm. Let's hope. So anyway, I have been working on this polar pack, Plum Street Samplers. I'm trying to get I've got 5 bear patterns for the year, and this is the second one. I finished the Nora Corbett Winter Bear. This is polar pack. And I finished this one this couple weeks ago, and it's a little pillow now. Check it out. How cute is that? I'm really, really pleased with it. And then I just had this in my stash, and I felt like it went with it really well. It almost is exactly the same color as the little blue stars. And then I picked up, it is a finished object. It is not a fully finished object, or a finally fully finished object. I had to go get this to focus. That's got a lot of glare. Anyway, I didn't have the right color of binding to put on it, so I had to go pick up some of this Lady Dot chenille trim today, and that'll go around it, and then it gets to be a finally fully finished object, an FFFO, and it'll go up here on the shelf above my desk, my sewing desk, my craft desk, with my winter bear. So yeah, I'm very happy with this, and I probably am going to do the Abominable bundle next, which are not technically bears, they're yetis, but I'm counting them as bears. So because I have a Madame Chantilly bear, Christmas bear pattern, and then I have the Hyperboreal bear from Owl Forest Embroidery. But because I have this one done, and the Abominable bundle will be the same size and a similar finish, I kind of want the matching pair. So that's probably what I'll do when I start another new one of these. I don't know when, but anyway, so that's done. I'm very, very happy with it. I don't know how many finishes that makes this year. Not too many, and they're not huge finishes, but as you know, if you've been here before, I am pretty much a monogamous stitcher. I have gotten the multiple whip thing down, but for me, multiple whips means like 3, maybe 4 that I cycle through, and the rest of them I'll go into timeout, because I do have more whips in the basket over there staring at me. We're ignoring them, okay? We are ignoring those whips. Okay, so that's my finished object. My other projects that I have been working on, I picked up Galactic Galliard. This is by Tempting Tangles Designs, and I posted a picture of my progress on Instagram, and people were like, oh my gosh, those colors are amazing. And I'm just like, the colors, I take no credit, and they're really, you can't tell them here. They're really washed out. The lettering is anyway, but the colors were what drew me to this pattern, part of what drew me. I just loved the whole thing, the solar system, the sun, the planets. I didn't love the quote. I don't do quotes that are, I don't do Bible quotes at all. And I would think very hard before I did any other kind of scripture. But anyway, so what I decided to do, because I really, really wanted to stitch that, was replace the quote that's on it with a Carl Sagan quote. And the one I'm going to do, at the bottom, I'm going to do his "We Are Made of Star Stuff." which I think most people are familiar with. And this is, if you're too young to remember the original Cosmos series with Carl Sagan, I'm sorry. You missed out. You missed out. I watched it when I was, well, I still lived in Texas. So I must have been 9 or 10. I don't know. But it blew me away. I loved it. I was so in love with all of the ideas in that show. And I've talked before about my love of science fiction. And so anyway, I just decided I can replace the quote that it had with, and this is the quote I came up with: "The sun is a red-hot stone, the stars a celestial flame, the galaxy the backbone of night." And I love it, and it's so perfect for that pattern, I feel. So I'm charting it. The lettering that I'm using, well, I guess I could show you how far I've gotten, huh? I have basically done one tiny little quarter. This is Mercury. And I almost changed it because I'm like, Mercury should be red hot. And then I was just like, no, don't, because you don't want to mess with it. So just do it. So I did. I really like it. I've also filled in these little Algerian star eyelet things and done some back stitching. There's a lot of back stitching. Most of this is back stitching. I mean, I was back stitching. I don't know if you can see. My stitching's not that neat, so part of me is like, don't put it too close to the camera, Lisa. Don't let them see. But anyway, there's just a lot of back stitching on some of these designs. And then you can see I've got the first two lines started. I am stitching it in the called for floss, except that I'm subbing one out for DMC because I forgot to buy the called for floss, and I'm not going to buy from this particular company again. But and the fabric is Picture This Plus Phantom. It's 36 count. And the model, I think, was stitched on a really dark, like indigo navy. And I wanted something that was galaxy-ish, but not so, because there's so much going on in the pattern. I didn't want it to have to fight the fabric. And so this is what I wound up doing, and I'm really pleased with how it's coming out. And this is my second foray into stitching on really dark fabric. It is not going as well as my first. I think I explained in another video, I did the ink circles, thistle dew, the Celtic knot thistle, on black linen, and that thread had to have been dyed before it was woven, because it was easy to see. I just needed a really strong LED light, and I could see what I was doing. And this was woven and then dyed, and the fabric, the threads are a lot plumper, and it's been much harder to see. But I've been using Pattern Keeper, which I think that's where the picture was, and it's the first time I've ever used Pattern Keeper, because I very much like paper patterns. I like a hardbound book. I really like the physical, tactile feel of even just the pattern. But Pattern Keeper has been saving me on this. It makes it so much easier to keep track of what I'm doing and figure out where I'm at. And then I have 3X reading glasses, which I clip on here. And then I use my magnifying glass LED light, and between that, I can see it well enough that I can stitch this thing. So yeah. One other thing, people commented on the lettering looking really cool. I just used the lettering that was in the pattern. I looked at some different alphabets and couldn't really find, mostly for the T, because there was no capital T. So I did kind of graph the capital T and V. I'm not entirely sure I like how it came out, but you know what? It's on. It'll work. But the rest of the lettering, pretty much, I could just pull from the actual pattern itself, and so I just used what they had and just changed it around. And I realized, I worked on this a couple weeks ago, well, week before this. I realized part of my hesitation in working on it was that I was worried about how I graphed out the lettering, whether it would fit or not. But I managed to pick a quote that really neatly replaces the original quote. And then when I went back and pulled all of my, that's not it. I was going to say, I can't show you too much because this is the actual pattern. I copy my patterns and work off of a copy. But anyway, when I went back and looked at what I had done, this is what I did. And it was like, it fits pretty well. There's some places where I have like little notes that say, all those little lines, +2, -1, etc. But I was like, that's to make it fit a little better, because I counted out all the spaces that I had, and then I counted out the lettering, and then I started adding it in, and then I added in from each end. I went from each, so I, started from each end and worked my way in with the quote I wanted, and then how much did I have left in the middle, and then I made all those little dashes and pluses and minuses are to get it to fill the space a little more evenly. So I'm actually pretty happy with that, how it works. I'm a little concerned because it was very, very, very hard to match the size of their graph. I don't know what size it was printed at, or what size I printed it at, maybe that it might be user error, and I couldn't find something that actually completely matched it. So it's going to be a bit of a guessing game through the whole thing, so we'll see. But the lettering isn't that hard, and if I wind up having to pull some of it out to make it fit better, it won't be that big of a deal. So anyway, so I'm really happy with how that's going, and I was hoping to have a page finished by the end of the month, but that's not going to happen because it dawned on me all of a sudden that it was almost June, and I have a project that I should have finished by the end of June. We'll see if I make it, but and that's what I'll talk about next. So that one was Galactic Galliard, and then the next one I'm working on is this one, and it's the Fox by Primitive Hare, and I am going to be making this into a stocking for a family member, and yeah, I just thought it would be really cool. I won't be putting the fox vulpes on it. I have a freebie little berries and mistletoe thing I think I'm going to put here, and then I had picked up this Primitive Hare with the idea of using this to possibly replace the border here with something a little more Christmassy. So I was debating if I even needed to do it, but when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, okay, so it intersects the fox's tail, it intersects the fox's back. I probably need to do it. So that's what I'll be doing. I'm stitching it in the called for. No, I replaced the called for threads DMC with overdyed flosses. Again, from a company I'm not going to be using anymore. So, and the fabric I'm stitching it on. This is how far I am. It's looking like a fox. Whee! I had most of the body here done before this last week, and then what I've done is this outlining here and then up here, and then working my way down now through the fox's face. And the inside of that ear will be white, which is why it's all empty, and there's some more of the dark to fill in here. But I am just really, really happy with how it looks. There we are. So, and I need to have this done, it's for somebody. So that's what I'm focusing on, and I really like it. The fabric is pretty sure it's a 36 count fabric flare pattern, or fabric flare fabric. Fabric flare fabric. I was teaching the Grand Spawn tongue twisters on Thursday when they were here. I was like, I got them stuck on the how much wood could a woodchuck chop. Yeah, they were. And then my spawn came home. The favorite. Well, there is no gender neutral term for aunt or uncle. I mean, for the little ones, you can go with nibbling, right? Instead of niece or nephew, they're a nibbling. But there's not really any good one to use for aunt or uncle. So the nibbling said what they've been using for my non-binary child is the pip, which is parents pippling, parent sibling, and so but they've shortened it to pip. It's like, okay, fine, they're pip. Although you have to explain it every time you use it. Anyway, it's fabric flare. That's why fabric flare. I think they print their fabric instead of dyeing it. It's got a strange plasticky feel to it, but as you work with it, it gets more, like a lot of fabric, as you work with it, it gets softer and more malleable. And this is not the edge of my fabric. I posted a picture of this on Instagram, and Bonnie was sweet. She was like, oh my gosh, is that? No, okay, no, that's not your fabric. I fold my fabric over to keep it out of the way, so I have enough fabric. I learned the hard way to make sure I have enough fabric. So anyway, as much as I hate using it that way, giving up that much unused fabric. But anyway, so that's this one. I really like how it's coming out. I'm looking forward to finishing it. So I just think this will be really fun. But the fabric is, I think it's just called Snowfall. And I'm stitching both of the Christmas patterns I'm making on that same fabric. And one other WIP that I'm currently working. I had picked up some Mill Hill kits, I think I shared, and then these were 2 of them. My 2 favorite colors, chartreuse green and neon orange or sherbet orange. And I'm working on this one, as you can see, because it's the one out of the bag. And I'm about halfway through the black work, as you can see. Not too shabby. So that's one, and I was kind of doing it as a Mill Hill Monday, and then me being me, I'm just like, I hate following directions if I don't have to. You know, if there's no grade involved, there's no reason, I'm just going to go do what I want to do, and I really need to work on these other projects. So I switched back into my normal monogamous stitching where I'm working mostly on one thing as opposed to rotating through a number of things, because I don't always have that kind of bandwidth to work on things. I have one other WIP. It is not cross stitch, it is crochet. I wanted a cheesy tree skirt. So I just picked up some yarn at the store, yarn store, so you know, yeah. Anyway, so I'm just working on this. It'll be my tree skirt for this Christmas. So it's kind of nice when I have some Zoom meetings or something. I try cross stitching during Zoom meetings, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. The ones it particularly doesn't work for are the ones that you actually have to look like you're there. Yeah, it didn't work for the ones that I had to actually be listening. Oh, yeah, okay, Oh, wait, what? So anyway, that's worked really well for that. And yeah, I think that's most of my WIPs. So that's my finished object and my WIPs. And moving on, plans slightly. I don't have a lot of grandiose plans. I did not do Mania. I have enough stuff going on in other areas of my life that I just was like, I'm not even going to try to do Mania. I don't need more starts. I don't need, you know, if I want to do something I will, but I always come in sideways. That's my thing. So I didn't do anything for Mania. Plans, I'm just going to keep working on the Fox for the most part, and then Galactic Galliard, and you know, the little stocking. I have some Halloween ornaments I had started to stitch, and I will be picking those up eventually to work on, and I still have my little Scotland pattern that I'm working on. One of these days, I think I might actually have enough WIPs to do a WIP parade. Ooh, that's kind of terrifying. Maybe I don't want to think about that. I get overwhelmed again. Wow! ADHD meds help with the overwhelmed feeling. I don't get nearly as overwhelmed as I did. I mean, not often. So, anyway, I have haul. Stress-related retail events happen, but also pats on the head for adulting happen. So that's basically the 2 kinds of retail therapy I have. Also, fabric of the month. One moment, hey, I'm learning how to hit the pause button again. So I ordered this fabric. This is another fabric flare, and I had ordered it once before, and then somehow I didn't understand how long it was going to take to get the fabric, and I canceled it after several months, and they were a little annoyed with me, and I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, but by that time they were annoyed with me, and I was just like, okay, fine, we're just going to let it go. And about a year and a half later, I was like, you know, I really did like this fabric. So it's another fabric flare. It's called Autumn Season, I think. And it was much more intensely colored in the picture on the website. Let me just say that. It's still beautiful. I'm not entirely sure what I will stitch on it, but I have this, and then I have abalone, which is one I got as well. And I just think they're gorgeous, and something will come up that will work on this. Maybe a nice probably a nice monochromatic, some kind of monochromatic stitch. I don't know if it'll be a sampler. I'm not huge on samplers. So I got that in, I don't know, a month or so ago. It's been not too long after I filmed my last Flosstube. And then I have been a part of Mystic Fabrics Fabric of the Month Club. And I got this from them. It's called Kaleidoscope. It's very pretty. I have no clue what I'd ever stitch on it. I don't know. I'm actually honestly thinking about a little bit of destashing or giveaways or something. I don't know. It's pretty. I don't know that I'd ever use it. So, and actually I did go ahead and cancel my membership in the club because I'm just getting so much fabric and I don't stitch fast enough to use it. And I wanted to try a Fabric of the Month club. I did. It was fun. It was cool. I don't stitch fast enough to use it. So I think I'm good with Fabric of the Month clubs. I'm telling myself I don't need to do a loot box. There aren't any that really appeal to me except for the new one Modern Folk Embroidery is doing for Christmas, and there's a part of me that's like, I want to do it, I want to do it. And then I look at the price and I'm like, for one, a lot of times they include candy and candles and things that, which I just can't have. Can't do scented candles, can't have, I'm not supposed to have candy. Don't ask me what happened to the brownie my realtor sent me. I don't know why. It's been 3.5 years since I bought this place. I got brownies in the mail from her. They were very good. But anyway, yeah, so I'm trying to talk myself out of signing up for the loot box. But that one actually looks like it could be fun. I like some of the Modern Folk Embroidery, but I also am not really big into the primitive or the samplers. So I don't know. And I'm not big into the Halloween and the murder mystery and all of that. Yeah, I don't, and then I'd like to know what I'm going to get. And if I spent that much money and got things I wasn't thrilled with, I'd be kind of like, why did I do that? So let's not. The other thing I did, I went to the store, I have a new art print. I have two, actually. There we are. I have Thranduil as the King of Swords, and the Elf King in Mirkwood for The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, and then Thorin as King of Coins. I got those I got the Thranduil from a tarot kit Kickstarter figured out last year that I liked tarot decks, and I think I backed 5 or 6 of them before I finally got smart and turned off the notifications. I'm still waiting for 2. That one, the Thranduil as King of Swords, came as part of an booster pack. It was a booster pack for a deck called the Alleyman's Tarot that wound up being really, really cool. But anyway, so I had to go get a frame because none of the frames I got from Goodwill would work for Thorin. The one Thranduil's in worked. I got that one out of my Goodwill stash. But anyway, while I was there, and in the interest of diversifying my stitching, I don't stitch a lot of people, but I wanted to have options if I did, and so I went to Lord Little Bands and then looked at the Diversity in Stitching website and a couple of others, and picked up some different flesh tones for floss, for cross stitch. So I'm really happy. It's just like, okay, cool, I'm ready to do that. I also, like I said, stress-related retail events. Had a family visit, family I haven't seen in quite a while, for reasons. It went well, but we are from, let's just say there's a vast ideological gulf between us, and as much as we love each other, I'm not sure, but what the weekend didn't prove, that the ideological gulf may be impossible to cross, especially as so much of our family, my immediate family, is LGBTQIA. It's just like, I want them to be safe and respected and loved. So anyway, it went well. They left. I was like, retail therapy. And I had also been talking to my friend Mary Kate, and we were talking about, she's stitching on some Mirabilias, and I'm like, yeah, I like some of them, but they don't always appeal to me, but there are some I do like, and they go out of print, is what I realized. This upshot of my takeaway from that conversation, other than, wow, you were doing some amazing stitching, Mary Kate, just gorgeous work, was those patterns go out of print. I should get the ones I like. And that was a handy excuse, retail therapy. So I went to 123 Stitch, and I picked up, I've liked this one. The biggest reason I haven't bought it till now is because the name includes an ethnic slur. So I will not give you the name. It is Mirabilia 142 is what it is. I'm going to call it the Dancing Queen. But I love it. It's all my favorite colors. It's the teal, it's the orange, it's the purple, it's the pink. It doesn't, and it kind of has some of the green up in the hair, but I just love her, and I've wanted to do her, and I've wanted to pick her up, and I was like, you know what, let's just do it. Pick her up and go from there. I would totally wear that dress. If I had I would wear it. I would dress up and go out as this person, as this dancing queen. So, or Harlequin queen. I don't know what. There may be a better name. But I just really, really love her. And so I picked up this one. And then the other one I picked up is another one I've just been really looking at for a long time, and just like, well, is this one. And this is Snow Queen, MB, what is it? 143. Oh, okay. I guess I got two in order. I love this one. I just think she's beautiful. I would probably stitch her on a darker fabric. Not too dark. Not too dark, but I would probably stitch her on a little bit darker fabric. But isn't that beautiful? I really like that one. And I think my Nora Corbett book, I have a kind of a similar-ish pattern, and it might be fun to eventually stitch both of them. Because I'm going to run out of things to stitch. You know this, right? I don't have nearly enough patterns or nearly enough things to stitch. It might be an issue. And then while I was there, I picked up this one too. I love her. Nobody in my family is a Pisces that I know of. I don't even know when Pisces is. I'm a Capricorn, but my birthday says I'm an Aquarius. Yeah, I'm like a perfect cusp baby. I'm like 2 seconds a Capricorn. Anyway, and the youngest spawn, they're a Taurus. Oh my God, are they a Taurus? Anyway, but I just thought she was really, really pretty. And I think it would be really easy to stitch her without the fish. And then you could just go ahead and put this up above her. And I think it would just look really, really cool either way. And so that's why I got her. She'd be a fun, quick stitch. Because she's only, how big is she? She is, okay, I know they put the design size on these. Where is it? Interesting. I don't see it on. I don't see it. I'm looking in the wrong place. That's interesting. They don't have it. So she's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, she's 80 by 130. She's not that small. I should have known better, but she's really pretty. And I might go ahead and get the Capricorn and Aquarius ones too, because I thought they were really cool looking. But in the interest of restraint, I only bought those 3. And I think I picked up some floss too, but I don't remember what else. So yeah, so that was my stress-related retail event. And then I adulted hard this week. Work's busy, work's going to be busy. We're picking up some extra work to help out the other half of our team, and it's mostly falling on me, and I'm just kind of like, I'm going to have to just pedal to the metal. So work's going to be busy, and then I've had to have repairs on my new heat pump. I had to take my car in today, and because I'm a terrible car mama, I just always over budget because I know I'm going to go in there and there's going to be other things. And yeah, sure enough, they're like, yeah, your 2 quarts low on your oil and your radiator fluid's low, and you really need to change your air filter. And 90% of the time when they bring that air filter in and show it to you, you don't need to change it. I needed to change mine. Yeah, so anyway, but I did it. And I've been trying for 2 months to get this done. Just like, you can do this. You have the spoons. No, you don't. Well, that was the only thing I planned to do this weekend. I'm not kidding. I cleared my calendar and I put, take the car in. And then I woke up this morning and I was like, I don't want to do it. And then I was like, hey, if you do it, you can go to Acorns and Threads. Deal. So I did. Good thing is I went before I went to Acorns and Threads, so I knew just how bad the damage was. But anyway, so that was my reward, was a trip to Acorns and Threads. And I did need to pick up, as I said, I had planned to go there and pick this up. But, in the Lady Dot chenille trim. But as my reward for doing the adult thing, I got to pick up a few other things. I let myself. So I picked up some Picture This Plus doubloon. It's 32 count. This will be for my, I have Summer House Stitchworks Sophia Owl, and that's what that's for. It's the called for linen, and if I don't use it for that, I will use it for something else. I'm amassing a lot of neutrals, but at least I like the varied tones. I like the variegated neutrals like that, with not just one color. And then Bear, I wasn't 100%, the first time I saw this one, I wasn't sure I liked it, but I decided I actually did. He's just so happy. She's just so happy. Such a happy bear. So I picked this one up, Year in the Woods, and so I think the only ones I don't have are the ferret and the swans. And the ferret I will probably get. The swans I just was like, I'm not that interested in. And because I've seen so many people stitching it, and because I want to honor and encourage diversity in stitching, I went ahead and got myself a copy of the Rosina Dissery 1820. I don't know when or if I'll stitch it. I'm not a huge sampler fan. I mean, I have 3 samplers, I think, patterns. One I've started, which was my Celtic sampler, and I've already decided the alphabet on that is going to be replaced with my, if I do the alphabet, I might just take it off, but if I do the alphabet, I'm going to put my maternal haplogroup on it, which is something like U5B2B2A or something. I'm going to put that in there instead. And maybe the paternal haplogroup if I get my dad's haplogroup results back too, which hopefully, I think he sent that off when he was here, so hopefully that will get done. But anyway, I just thought I would get this, you know, partly to support the diversity effort, and then eventually I think I'd like to go ahead and stitch it. And I really like the fact that it has a poem instead of, you know, instead of lettering, and it has all the cool history and stuff in it, and I'm jumping on the bandwagon. The other one I think I'm going to get that I actually will stitch is the Primitive Hare's Freedom 1865, maybe. I might do that. That's one I might do. And I do have another Mirabilia on order. I went ahead. It took me a while to find it, and I'm not going to be convinced it's in stock until they actually ship it to me, but I found a copy of Mirabilia's Shimmering Mermaid, because that was another one I looked at, and I loved it, but I was like, I don't know if I'll stitch it, but it's really pretty. And then I realized, I saw a note that it was out of print, and I was like, can you find it? I found it, I think. We'll see. Fingers crossed that the little shop has it, because they did have a lot of them a lot of Mirabilias listed, and a number of them did say out of stock, and this one did not. And so I'm really hoping they still have it on the shelf. I found it on eBay, but eBay wanted like 3x the regular price, and I'm not that desperate at this point. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, thanks for watching. I have some more haul. It's ball jointed dolls. So if you're just here for the cross stitch and want to bug out, that's cool. I get it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for, you know, living vicariously with me through this. Sometimes I have to quit watching Flosstube because my pocketbook can't take it, because I see the pretty patterns and all the things people are stitching, and I just want to, ooh, fun, shiny, 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 get the shiny thing. But it's been a nice place to hang. When life gets overwhelming, I've been watching more Flosstube lately, because it just, yeah. Anyway, I don't even want to think about it. But I also collect ball jointed dolls, for those of you who don't know that. I think most of you do. I talk a lot about them. And I don't buy very many. They tend to be more expensive. They're expensive. And people who aren't into the hobby don't get why you would spend that much on a doll. But if you find them too cheap, and they're probably recast, which basically is theft. They're stealing them. They're stealing from the artists. It's a big problem right now. It has been for a few years in the community, because they are expensive. Anyway, a friend of mine a couple years ago a couple of my friends, they bought dolls from a Spanish artist, Nuria Torres, and her company is Married All Round. And I thought the dolls were really pretty, but I was like, I don't like dealing with the waiting list. At the time, I just, didn't have funds. I had other things I was spending it on. And so both of these friends, one of them was, gosh, I guess it was last summer I picked this one up. I just don't think I've talked about her here. And then just this last month, my other friend that lives nearby was like, hey, I want to sell this doll. I know you were interested in her when I got her. Are you interested in buying her? And I was like, yeah. I'm not doing much with my dolls right now, but they're patient. And even if I'm not doing anything with them, they look really cool standing on a shelf in some of the costumes and outfits that I've made, some that I bought. So, and she's really pretty. So, I don't think she likes the outfit I have her in. So this is a Married All Round Zuri. Zuri is the sculpt, and Married All Round is the company. I don't think she likes this outfit. But isn't she pretty? I mean, look at that face. So my ideas with her are I have a couple dolls I do 1960s outfits. And so I just think it'd be really, really cool to put this one in an afro and the big hoop earrings, and either do a mini skirt with the high boots, which is what I tend to do with my other girl doll that I have. I put in 1960s clothes, or a dashiki, and I have a dashiki she can wear, because I made it for one of my other dolls before I did the research, which I shouldn't have done, and then I realized, okay, that is not something I should be putting on my pale-faced dolls, my not African-American dolls, my not African dolls. So that's one idea. is do 1960s mod and put her in those kinds of, you know, the dashiki and that kind of thing. And then in the early 1970s, late 1960s. And then the other idea I have is I want to do some research on Nubia. There were the queens of Nubia, there were Meroe, there's just all kinds of African queens that I can look to, and just African women, and do some costumes there. And when we were secular homeschoolers for 10 or 15 years, 10, 12 years. Anyway, I was trying to teach my children African history. It was so hard to find books at that time. So hard. And no, there wasn't much on the internet. I finally did find like 4 books by about the time I was almost done. I mean, it was in the last 3 or 4 years I was homeschooling. I did finally manage to track down some books on African history for children. But I didn't teach my kids U.S. history when I was homeschooling them, because I knew that I knew they'd go to school at some point. I wasn't homeschooling through high school. I knew they'd get so much American history, so much U.S. history when they got there, that I just was like, they don't need it from me. So I focused a lot on world history and ancient history, ancient civilizations and things like that. So anyway, I was looking, so I have some African history books. There's a lot more available now, and there's a lot more online too about the history and the costumes. And so that's what I want to do with her. But I just thought she was so pretty, such a pretty, pretty color. Such a pretty, pretty doll. And this was the only wig I had on hand that I like. I have another one, but I thought she could wear it, didn't fit. And no, she does not approve of the frilly outfit. I'm going to have to change her out of this. So that's my new girl. I'm going to name her Candace, that's the name right now. It may change, but right now my thought is to name her Candace. And that actually comes from, if I'm understanding the etymology correctly, it comes from Nubia, where the queen mothers were called Kandake. And it's Kandake, ancient Greek version of Kandake, Kandake. And it came because the way the Greeks wrote it, the way it was translated later on and up into the modern era, it turned into the name Candace. And so I just decided that was probably a good name for her. I thought about naming her Tuyi, which is Tutankhamun and his mom's name, Tuyi, Queen Tuyi, but I have a doll that's a dwarf with a very full red beard that's named Tuli. I don't need Tuyi and Tuli. So anyway, so this is Candace. I am very excited. She needs a face-up. She doesn't have any makeup or anything on, and that's going to be an adventure. I've already been looking into looking at some artists to possibly send the head away to have a face-up done on it, and then also just looking at what maybe I could do myself. Because I have another one. Where did I put him? I don't know where he went. Anyway, I have another little dragon doll that my friend dyed, and I've ordered some pearlescent powders to use, and I need to finish painting him. I had him dyed a really pretty copper green, and then light copper, and then I'm going to put like bronze and coppery accents on him when I get around to it, which may be a while. We all know that. So that's Candace, and then this little girl doesn't have a name yet, but she's from the same artist. Her sculpt is Fang, and for her I'm eventually going to do, right now she's wearing I'm not sure, I think this is Ming Dynasty, Yuan Dynasty, I'm not sure, outfit. I got it from a company in China, and I'm going to do a Mongol outfit, and I'm debating doing the Mongol Khalkha outfit, which is with the horns and all of that. We'll see. I'm not sure I'll get to that. But anyway, this is, and she doesn't have a name. I've been going back and forth over several names, and I just haven't settled on one, mostly because I gave the ones I really like to 2 other dolls I have, and I don't want to take their names away, and I haven't found another one that I like as well. So anyway, so this is her outfit. She's got her jade beads, and she's got the pearls. And I have some cool hair ornaments that came with it, but this wig doesn't take the ornaments very well. I need a better wig for that. But anyway, so this is a Merry Doll Round Fang. And they're my 2 newest BJDs. And as I said, even if I'm not doing anything with them and I'm doing all the cross stitch, they look really cool sitting on a shelf. I'm very much like that. And then and another one that hopefully will be here. I don't think it's going to be here this month. I don't know when, but I have another one on order. It's a little cat doll from an artist in France that are just, they're so cute. And I have to come up with a name for it. It might be Cookie, which is kind of actually sort of the Mongolian word for blue. We'll see. We'll see. It's the sculpt is called brioche, and so the one I have is a larger one, and I named it ciabatta because, you know, brioche, ciabatta, bread. So we'll see. This one might be named cookie, which is blue, but also cookie, right? Cookie. So all right, I think that's everything. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging around. Have fun stitching. I hope you and your family stay healthy and safe, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.